Hey everyone, welcome to the best show in town. And today I'm bringing you this special program because it's my mom's birthday. Today is the 23rd of August, and she would have been 80 years old today. And I really miss her a lot because she used to advise so much throughout my entire life. I remember as a little girl, she would tell me so many things, and those things are playing like a record inside my mind right now. So people ask me a lot of things. Number one, they ask me, how do you have such good skin? Now, that credit goes to my mother, because I remember when I used to return from school, I used to have this little umbrella, and she would invariably ask me to open that umbrella and use it even if the sun was not shining. She would always tell me, open that umbrella, you're going to keep your skin protected. And I think it's because of my mother that I still use the umbrella even now. And when I see young girls going through the streets without an umbrella in this August sun, I actually go out to them and I go and tell them, hey pretty woman, can you just use an umbrella from tomorrow? Can you do that? Can you just bring an umbrella? And can you just protect yourself? And this girl would be really surprised, and she would say, do I know you, or do you know me at all? And I said, no, I don't know you, but I'm really very concerned about your skin. You're still not married. You're a girl who's going to school or to college, and by the time you're going to get married, your skin is really going to become very burnt by the sun, and you are going to have a little trouble by covering up all those scars then. So I actually go down and tell these young girls, and it really makes me feel very good, because it was my mother who used to advise me, and now I advise young girls to carry an umbrella. And it's very important, in fact, because the sun is so harsh these days. With our trees almost gone from our city, this time everyone's been complaining, saying that Guwahati has been very, very warm. There have been friends who've come back from Chennai, and they've said that it's so cool out there. They've got the rains out there, but then Guwahati, we're still parched, and then we are still waiting for that monsoon rain, that rain which we are craving for, in fact. So yes, so I was speaking about my mother. My mother is someone who is still living with me. Even if she's gone, she's in a better place probably, but she's still living with me, somehow. Why? Because all those tapes that she played is still playing on my mind. Those tapes are still playing on my mind. Like, I remember when I used to have a grumpy face, like as a girl who was growing up. Now I smile a lot because it's my mother who kept telling me that I need to smile a lot. But then when I was growing up, I remember I used to have my moods, and I used to be grumpy, I used to frown, and I used to scowl. And then my mother used to always tell me one thing, that never do that, because if you want to remain young, and if you don't want to have any kind of wrinkles on your skin, then it would be really advisable for you not to frown too much, because when you frown, there are a lot of muscles which work to give you wrinkled skin. But when you smile a lot, then there are just two muscles which work. That's what she told me. I don't know if it's scientifically true or not, but then she'd always tell me that there's just two muscles which work, and there are hundreds of other muscles which work to make your skin look dull and wrinkly when you frown. So that's what she would tell me, and I would actually believe her, and I still do believe her, of course, absolutely, 120%. Whatever she said, I would believe like the day and night. I would totally believe in her. And today on her birthday, I really miss her, because every birthday we'd go over to her place with a cake, and we'd have a good time, and she would cut the cake. Towards the end, I remember while she was getting very sick, and we couldn't celebrate her 77th birthday. She would have been 80 today, but then she went a few days before her birthday. She went off on the 3rd of August, and we really miss her now, because she kept her house so beautifully. I remember everything was so prim and proper. Her house in Juripar was so beautiful, and her flowers, her fruit trees, and everything about it was so amazing. I am actually not sad that she's gone. In fact, I'm celebrating her life because every day she lives with me. All the sermons, all the advice, all the talks that we both had, it's like she's still living with me. And every time I think of something and she just pop up in my mind, and I say, okay mom, I know, okay, I will do this, right, I will do this, yes. And she would tell me really weird stories so that I wouldn't do anything wrong. She would tell me about how to be truthful, and she would tell me about stories about truth and lies, and so that I wouldn't lie at all. I was really scared of her. Because I remember one thing, that she would be very strict with me, and that kind of made me lie to her sometimes, but she eventually found out anyway, and I would really get a terrible beating because of that. And when I talk about beating, I remember my mother, she put in so much of effort to teach me my language, my mother tongue, Assamese, that every evening it would be a kind of a horror story for me. But now I'm really grateful to her, because I do speak very good Assamese and I do write very well. All those 3 books that we had for Assamese, I actually remember those 3 books, and I remember them so well. You know what my mom did to teach me Assamese? She actually read all those 3 books by heart. She knew all the spellings, she knew each and every chapter, she knew each and every page by heart, and she would make sure that I knew all the spellings, and she would underline all the spellings, and every evening she would make me sit down, and she would just give me those spellings, dictations rather, and if I do make any mistake, well, you know what would happen. I would get the whacks of my life, and I've never forgotten those whacks. But then I'm glad she did that, because Assamese is a beautiful language, and to learn that and to actually become skilled in that takes a lot of effort. Though it's our mother tongue, if we haven't studied in an Assamese medium school, then what happens is that we are not up to the mark of students who have studied in an Assamese medium school, in a vernacular medium school. We studied in an English medium school, so our English was always a second language. So for all those girls who had taken their mother tongue, was their language, their mother tongue classes were always known as second language classes. And when I came from Shillong to Guwahati, I realized that I was way behind in my Assamese diction. And I remember my first serial was that of Dajal Ghura, and the director actually told me that you don't know so much of Assamese. Are you Angrez ka aulad? Like, am I the the family of the British? Of course I'm not. But then, because we didn't have enough practice in our mother tongue, so what happened was that we kept on speaking in English most of the time. Even with my cousins, I would talk with them in English. And then my Assamese teacher, I still remember her, she would definitely tell my mother, when there were those PTM classes, those parent-teacher meetings, she would tell her, please speak in Assamese at home so that your daughter can speak good Assamese. And mom made it very clear to me that she would not be speaking to me in English at home, and it would be strictly the mother tongue. And probably that is why, thanks to her, I know a lot of Assamese now, and thanks to her and thanks to my own self, because once I got married, what happened was that my husband was studying. He said that he had studied in the Assamese medium school and in Sibsagar, and so he told me that we would not have too much of English speaking, okay? So you'd have to speak a lot of Assamese. And that is when I put in all my efforts to study Assamese. I read a lot of Assamese. I watched the news. And then when I was anchoring, I remember I was doing a lot of English anchoring. And there would be people who would say, why did you speak in Assamese? And I would say, no, I need a proper script. But now it's okay. I can actually go and do a proper lecture for an hour and a half in Assamese. I can make my videos in Assamese, so it's okay. It's all about the effort. And I think I'd like to thank my mother on her birthday because she put in all her efforts. She put in all her efforts for me to study Assamese. Imagine a mother who had hundreds and thousands of things to do around the house. She would actually sit with my books. She would go through those lessons. She would make sure every spelling was underlined, and then later in the evening she would whack me to learning Assamese. I would really like to thank her on her birthday. Mom, wherever you are, I just love you so much because you've done so much for me to make this human who she is. And thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm celebrating your life right now. I am not sad that you're gone. You're happy wherever you are. You're without any pain right now. And you have left back a wonderful person. That's me. And I love you. And I love you and Dad so much. So you take care of yourself. And till we meet again. Bye.